Chris Buck is joining me in the Guitar Guitar studio today, and we're going to be talking a lot about Helix and Yamaha today. Now, Chris has already been speaking with me about some of the presets that he has used the Helix for with Cardinal Black, with a lot of stuff that, you know, is kind of go-to preset. But what I want to present with you right now, mate, is somewhat of a scenario, a bit of a challenge, I guess, which you've just been asked to come and do clinic at Guitar Guitar, but you're going to be packing light. You've got one guitar, you've got a Helix. What I would like to see is kind of what your process would be and kind of just your reasoning for maybe the guitar you choose and what would be your essentials on a Helix, like for your chain.
I mean, first I would just say no.
Which exactly, yeah. I'm asking way too much at that point.
Which would get all around the following issues. I mean, first thing in the bag, quite literally, in the case, I guess, is this, my Yamaha Revstar. I think the wear on it very much attests to the fact that it's number one at this point.
Yeah, it really does.
And has been pretty much since I got it, actually, in 2020. Obviously, for reasons not really controllable, it didn't do a lot of live work for about the first 2 years of its life. But I've more than made up for that in that time after. Taking it all over the UK, all over Europe, all over the US. It's been everywhere with me. And it's kind of looking at its age now.
Which I think anybody who's familiar with yourself will probably be familiar with this guitar as well, because it's always kind of with you, which in anything that I've seen, certainly.
Inseparable. I spend more time with this guitar than I do my wife.
Don't watch this.
Yeah. So I should definitely watch it. Don't worry. Don't worry, it's safe. So this would be the first thing in the case. And then, I guess, like you said, it kind of, I mean, this is a good example. I've flown up, don't want to be taking pedal boards, don't want to be taking amps, you know. I mean, ironically, I'd be coming to a guitar shop where I wouldn't be short of options. But if, for example, I was, like I said earlier, Helix is ubiquitous, and it's great in that respect, in that, you know, kind of, regardless of where you go, you know they're going to have a Helix, you know, you can kind of spec one. And you're just good to go. You're good to go, or whether you load your preset app or whether you want to make a preset. On the fly, you know, why you would do that, you'd have to be a lunatic. But faced with that scenario, let's try and do it, I guess.
Yeah, man.
So I would revert to type, I guess, and probably just kind of use the stuff which I guess I'm typically kind of used to using.
Yeah,
so
man.
First and foremost, let's get an amp on the go. I think one of my favourite kind of combinations recently is actually the Princess, which is
cool, yeah, based on the Princeton.
Yeah, exactly, the US Princess, which. Dry guitar.
Oh, it's a scary thought, isn't it?
Terrifying. I have nightmares about that. So straight away, gonna go with Legacy, and we're gonna chuck on a 63 Spring, which still, with all of the updates, all the firmware updates, all the kind of new reverbs they've introduced, that's still my go-to.
Cool.
I love Spring Reverb, and I just think it's a particularly good Spring Reverb emulation.
Yeah.
That's down a well. On a bathroom, we don't want that much. Slightly less decay, maybe. Let's dial the decay back. Maybe a little bit more high cut. Tend to like quite a dark reverb.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of players kind of like gravitating towards that, especially with obviously the options to EQ your reverb in the unit.
Yeah. So obviously, don't really get that traditionally.
No.
So it's, that'll probably be about right. Close enough for jazz.
Hell yeah.
No,
it sounds good enough as it is. So thanks for joining us today, folks.
Thanks for watching. And then probably a couple of Panic overdrives. I guess usually a fuzz. I'm literally just building my preset at this point.
Yeah.
But it kind of works, I guess.
It's cool to see the thought process, because like you were saying that to me in the previous video, that you're such a fan of like multiple distortions and multiple overdrives and fuzzes and that stacked on top of each other as well. And from that previous video, if you haven't watched it, you should click above my head as well. Look at that. But there's a few kind of key pieces that you go into, and even just, you know, as you're putting them in, just the thought process of why, you know, that we have them, because I think you had like something like 4 or 5 like overdrives in your last packs there. So what would be number one?
I was just thinking, actually, we might mix it up a little bit. One of the favourite ones I've come across recently, I really like the Alpaca Rouge.
Oh, yeah.
That's a little bit kind of more on the gainy side, I guess, than I would usually. Good old amount of level coming out there.
Yeah,
Sorry about that
man.
one.
Yeah. We're cooking.
But I reckon probably, where is it? I'm going to go for the KWB, which I did do a little bit of research recently as to what this was, and I've conveniently forgotten that now. But it's quite kind of like transistory. I mean, you've got options for the type of diode there, so it's that kind of slightly warts and all. Nice. I'm kind of, the older I get, I think probably the more deaf I get, quite liking overdrives with a little bit of kind of top end.
Yes.
Kind of sizzle, I guess.
Absolutely.
It's the stuff which I guess traditionally when I was younger I kind of shied away from, because you want sounds which round all of the edges off it. Yeah,
just
thick and
big and thick.
kind of mid-rangey, you know.
No, just actually even on the topic of that, is that maybe in play because, is that mahogany? This guitar?
Yes, it is, yes.
With the P90s, obviously we're getting
With a maple cap, yeah.
We're getting that slightly like kind of darker tone immediately from that, you know, like especially when you're on the neck and everything like that.
Yeah.
So having something,
especially using my fingers as much as I do
Yes,
as well, which is going to make it inherently darker.
Which when we've got, you know, something that's just that little bit kind of more top endy, I guess it just kind of balances things.
Yeah, I think so.
Bit, but
I think so, and that's really cool. I mean, the KWB, I want to say it's like a solar power boost or something like that.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. But yeah, just that kind of slightly gritty. If we change the diode type to silicon for a second. Flick that back to germanium. A bit more aggressive on the silicon.
Maybe a little bit rounder on that one. Yeah.
It's cool though.
It's great sounding though, that one. It's one I've never tried before myself. So that's pretty much what I'm doing off of this, is just picking up like presets and sounds I've not used yet.
Yeah.
And going, okay, that's my homework for tonight.
It's nice. Honestly, this is something I wish I had more time to do, was just dig into the Helix. Kind of
'cause
go through it and kind of like experiment with stuff which I guess ordinarily you probably wouldn't really experiment with, because, you know, by its name, I guess you're probably not going to gravitate towards KWB, but spending a bit of time with it is awesome.
So you never know what application.
Need the cheat sheet to tell you
exactly,
what it's based on. I've actually printed one of those out before, like a loser.
Put it up on the wall, man.
Frame it in the kitchen. Probably going to need a couple of other overdrives, because why not?
Because why not? We have the power.
Yeah, exactly. The Teamer, I'm a big fan of, but I'm going to try and pick something a little bit different today, just for the fun of it.
Yeah, man.
Let's have a think. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go for the Alpaca Rouge and dial the drive and level back a little bit. So we want to turn that off. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Obviously not much drive coming from that, but for argument's sake, let's assign that to a foot switch a second. So if we click that one on there, I feel like Paul Hindmarsh there.
I know, look at this.
Nailing it. Paul, watch your back. You're going to be out with a job.
Hey, he's coming for you, Chris.
There is zero danger of that.
Yeah.
I'm not a lovable Geordie for one, so I've...
that's the prerequisite for that
absolutely.
position, absolutely.
Absolutely. So if we flick those two on together, I guess, well, individually to start off with, KWB. Fair amount of gain in that. I guess if you then boost that with the Alpaca Rouge. It's cool. It's good sound. Cool. It's not something I would ordinarily go for, but I guess the point here, or the self-imposed point, is to try and do something a little bit different.
Yeah, kind of push you out of your comfort zone just that little bit.
Yeah, why not? First time for everything.
Hell yeah.
Let's have a look. Let's go let's go one more overdrive. So we're going to go distortion. Let's go legacy. I'm thinking facial fuzz, because I am a big fan of the facial fuzz.
Yes.
dial that bass back a little bit, maybe a little bit more treble. It's that kind of, without getting copyright
That's
struck.
just demonetized
Yeah,
immediately.
sorry. Yeah, it's cool. It's a great sounding effect. So if we stick that one on there, for the time being, I'm going to leave it at that for the drive section. So
no, that was just the fuzz by itself as well. Wasn't
Yeah,
it? When you were
yeah.
hitting that was giving you quite a lot, man.
It's a beautifully kind of rounded fuzz. We spoke
Yeah.
about it in the other video, obviously, but it's one of the rare instances of using a fuzz face type pedal where you don't feel like you kind of need to boost it with an overdrive pedal or
Yeah.
something which rounds out that mid-range, because typically they can be a bit abrasive.
Oh yeah, totally. And especially if you're going for that Eric Johnson thing, actually, I know the valve driver is in that too.
That's the BK Butler kind of tube driver, is it? Yeah.
Which obviously inspired by, and that's a pure mainstay on that. But that's definitely giving you like very, very similar, like you know, that kind of like squashy, super warm.
I'll tell you what, let's have a look at the valve driver, purely because plug, I have a signature pedal with Orby Effects, which has a valve in it. So I want to see.
You're the man for the job.
If
Talk about this one.
Kind of in the same ballpark, but that said, what little time I have spent with the valve driver, with the BK Butler tube driver, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. But it didn't sound like that. Okay, here we go. It's straight away, like you said, that kind of squashy air. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That is cool, yeah.
like that.
Much like the Fuzzface Legacy preset we're using, or pedal we're using, sorry, as well. That's got the EQ on it, other than the mid, but that obviously really does help.
Yeah. Let's try stacking a couple of those together. So if we have the KWB, no, I don't want to assign the foot switch. We have the KWB and the valve driver, I reckon that's going to be pretty gainy. That's not too bad, actually.
No, that's still yeah.
Still nice and dynamic, still kind of.
Sweet resolution there.
Perfect cadence.
Because I would have thought that would have been like really unruly by even just throwing the two of them on there, but that was like so much nuance in that.
It's interesting to see how, obviously, a kind of real world, I guess, fundamentally different to digital, but it's interesting to see how effects interact with each other.
Yeah.
And sometimes combinations which you think, well, that's a cert, maybe don't work quite as well as you were expecting them to. And sometimes combinations where you think, well, that was just going to be, as you said, unruly and squashy and a little bit too much. It's actually really dynamic and beautiful. So, I mean, that's 4 pedals in the drive section. I think that's probably just about enough.
Reach the limits of that there, but you would obviously like traditionally have like, say, like obviously your clean bass signal, then move on to like a rhythm sound, maybe a solo sound, and then like a boosted solo sound or something. That's kind of the usual sort of layout that you would do.
I very rarely use one pedal as, oh, that's that sound.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of, it's stacking stuff, you know.
It's a big mix of things.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Which obviously allows you to pull and add whenever you need it. So
totally, yeah. And again, the kind of conversation we had earlier, you know, kind of depending on venue, depending on whatever, myriad reasons, you know. So modulation, let's have a look what we've got. Tell you what, I'm going to stay away from harmonic tremolo because I overuse it. Let's try a ubiquitous vibe. Univibe, I'll be honest, is one of those effects that I think it's a bit of an oddity in that it's one of the few guitar effects that has kind of been invented over the years that seems to have kind of been left in an era.
Yes, absolutely.
Chorus to a lesser extent, I think, with the 80s, and obviously it was so kind of ubiquitous, I guess, for a period that kind of you couldn't turn left or right for everything being covered in bloody chorus. But Univibe, I think, obviously is so identifiable with that kind of, you know, Machine Gun, with Woodstock. It's so placed in a time that it kind of didn't really leave much beyond that, I guess, short of like Robin Trower and, you know, some early 70s stuff. You kind of think, you know. So I'm determined to get this video demonetized.
Sorry, we're long gone there.
Yeah. Kick on a bit of fuzz with that. It's so identifiable as kind of like, well, that could only really be Hendrix.
Yeah,
you know?
but I think you hit on a good point with that. Like I think it's due a resurgence. Like definitely,
Yeah.
like there's applications with that, whether you want it to be subtle, but like I don't think when you've got a sound like that, you want it to be subtle. You want that to be like super wet, super over
kind of,
everything.
You
know?
need to make people feel a little bit seasick.
Exactly,
That's kind of the point of it. I mean, famously, that I've always been impressed actually by the Ubiquitous Vibe, because digital univibes can sound a bit naff.
Yeah.
It's the components involved in univibe are a little bit kind of difficult to use these days because of the ROHS or whatever it is, all that kind of fun stuff which nobody cares about. But that's a very good recreation of it, in fairness. I don't know whether I would use that, but it's in there and we're going to stick it on a foot switch, so why the hell not?
Yeah, man, use it as a little bit of flavour.
Yeah. Give me some ideas. I'm running out.
Why don't we go with now? You've got a song with obviously Cardinal Black that's like quite aggressive tremolo on it as well. So why don't we go with a deeper trem on it?
That's a good shout actually. I don't use trem anywhere near as much as I should. Like I said, it's a very kind of like a dramatic moment in a track. That's how it feels, but not really. I tend to kind of rely more on harmonic trem. So if we use an optical trem.
Oh, we're going fast.
We're going fast. So look, intensity up a little bit. Oh, that's super slow. Yeah.
Now I don't know about you, but I love that kind of like pretty subtle to a certain extent. Like we're not dipping like super in it, but it's like it's creating this like I almost feel like it's like a nice sort of eerie atmosphere to like see, especially when you're like maybe hanging on notes just a little bit more, but there's that dipping like that's happening with it. It's just it's such a cool effect to use with things. And,
agreed.
I definitely am in the camp as yourself that I don't use it nearly enough as well. So
I like it. It's staying. It's like Dragon's Den for effect.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sorry,
we're going to be backing this one.
Yeah.
Go, there's a show note on millennials again, man. Come on.
Let's have a look. I want to try because I've not tried it yet. I don't know where it's saved. The feedbacker.
Oh yes, I think it is.
Where's it going to be? Is it
from
in
when
pitch synth?
From when I was using it last time, I think it might be in the filters section.
Filters down, mono.
Oh, so, no.
Oh, the Asheville pattern is mental. I've used that a little bit in the past.
Oh, let's hear that.
Kind of. What track is that? It's. I can't think. It's a specific thing, isn't it? And it's going to drive me mad.
Absolutely. You know what? We'll get to the end of this video. We'll both just shout it out at the same time because it's definitely there's something there.
It's not in filter. Is it in modulation?
Where are we at?
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go delay because I always have a delay.
Yep.
I think we're probably going to go. I tell you what. I'm going to do duct delay. It's been a very long time since I've used a duct delay. I had a duct delay built in on the Bogner Alchemist, which was an amp I had years ago, and that was a seriously underrated amp. That was a great little amp. So let's have a look a minute. Yeah, let's try. Yeah, it's cool. Super quiet then, and kind of super subtle. But then if you Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
I do
that's
like a
nice,
duck
man.
delay. Maybe slightly less mix on that one. But let's assign that to that foot switch there. How are we getting on with the feedbacker? It's got to be in here
Getting
somewhere,
it.
isn't it?
I've found it now.
Is it in dynamics?
Let's see, where is it sitting?
Well-
I've got the photo of it.
Feedbacker, found it.
You get it?
It's in dynamics.
Ah, there we go. Two guitar guys set the Helix, you know.
So, I've never used this before, so I have no idea how this works, but I'm guessing. There we go. That's never going off. That's amazing.
That's a permanent spot on it now.
Oh, right. It's kind of...
Oh, so it picks it up every single time you do it?
That's amazing. Dry kill on... Sorry, it's the dogs watching everywhere.
They're all started barking now.
That's amazing. I mean, there's got to be a... I feel like Rick Wakeman.
You're getting the sort of the demos of a new Cardinal Black song right here
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
This is going to be big
This is going
inspiration.
to dictate the new direction of the band. Right, what that needs is a massive reverb.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Shimmer reverb. Right, now we're talking. Did you reference this patch having to be practical at all?
No, not at all.
I'm turning up to do a clinic. I'm going to blow people's minds.
You go, guys. Right, I know you wanted to hear some really tasteful licks, but listen to this. Like-
See, this is
so cool.
This is the problem with the Helix.
I know, right?
Is you get lost doing nonsense like this.
Oh,
Right, feedback type. We're at 2 octaves plus 2 octave unison. So if
Unison.
that's cool. Anyway, thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, this is the total duality of guitars because we were giving it in the last video like a lot of like it's very nice, to have like a video a patch that's just doesn't get too much in the way.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
too
You don't
based
get-
on stuff.
You don't get distracted and
Yeah.
lose hours of your life.
We're going absolute sicko mode with this one here, so it's
faffing around. I mean, it's on. So it's on. Let's hang on.
Oh, you've still got that shimmer reverb on there as well.
Close Encounters of the
I
third
was
kind,
like,
didn't
yeah,
there?
absolutely, man. I was
You'd
pitched there.
You'd be able to assign that to a foot switch as well, so you could go
Up.
seventh, go another seventh, and then mid to low.
Mid to low.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh. That's so cool! Oh my god.
Anyway, this is ridiculous. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
man.
Sorry, needs to
No,
say,
this is.
needs to say I won't be selling this preset.
You never know, man.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
might be absolutely buzzing on this.
I mean, that's cool. There we go.
That's so ace, man.
Free Willy.
Oh, let's go.
Amazing. So there we go. There's my patch. Anyway, so I'm doing a clinic. I'm going
That's-
to blow people's minds.
Chris's brand new patch that is absolutely going to carry on into all of his work there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I think the obviously like we started this out kind of having a look at some stuff, just showing you how like you changing some bits on the Helix, like this is for obviously anybody watching as well, can like lead to slightly new inspiration. But I think that was like a really good sort of like showing from us there, just like
How not to do it.
how to do it as well in terms of going, you know what, let's just try this. And then, I think that was like an absolute ton of fun there, man. Just like that could lead to the inspiration for a song. That could even just lead to inspiration to you calling your mates up and going, "Yo, you listen to this. This is absolutely crazy."
Yeah, more than likely.
But yeah, like I think, you know, if you're to take anything away from this video, it's look into the folders of your Helix at this point.
It's your mind. I thought you were going to go.
Look at your mind, man. Like just getting really like introspective there. No, look into the folders of your Helix, because I think there's going to be something there that will, like, you know, maybe just spark that little bit of inspiration, or at least allow you to have 10 minutes of fun, like we just did there. But
which will culminate in a phone call from the neighbours.
Exactly. Yeah. Go turn that damn feedbacker off. But not until I've had a good play around with it. But no, thanks so much, Chris. I do appreciate you popping into the studio today. And if you have enjoyed the video today with us just messing around with some Helix sounds,
like, subscribe, hit the bell icon.
That's it. All the YouTube stuff. It's almost like you've done this before.
I know. Right? Ex-YouTuber.
Exactly, yeah, you got out well, you could, man. But yeah, anyway, I've been Kieran, and I've been joined by Chris Buck.
I've been Rick Wakeman.
He's his new, brand new point in life, I guess, now discovering all these, like, silliness, man. But thanks for checking out the video, and yeah, thanks so much for joining us, Chris.
Absolute pleasure.
Take care.
See you soon.
Save that.
That
was class, man. Yeah.